Overseas, and Prince Harry has lost a Court of Appeal case over security arrangements in the United Kingdom, which he says is the reason the King won't speak to him.
In a blow so humiliating it could be heard echoing through the corridors of Montecito, Prince Harry has been brutally denied in his desperate bid to force the UK government to provide him with taxpayer-funded security. A High Court judge has handed down a decision that doesn't just defeat Harry's lawsuit.
A British judge has ruled against Prince Harry and his appeal to reinstate security for himself and his family during visits to the UK.
It dissects it, dismantles it, and tosses it in the bin of entitlement-fueled delusion. His sense of grievance, the judge ruled, did not amount to a legal argument. Translation: the court just told the Duke of Sussex, your feelings aren't facts, and your status isn't a shield. And Meghan Markle, likely seething at the collapse of what many insiders believe was part of a long-term campaign to stay legally and symbolically tethered to the monarchy.
Some breaking news as it comes to us relating to Prince Harry out of London. So here's what happened. He lost a legal challenge that he mounted over the British government's decision to downgrade.
All while profiting off independence. Let's break this down, factually, critically, and with all the antagonistic edge this circus deserves. Your grievance is not the law. That wasn't a headline. It was the brutal reality handed down to Prince Harry by a senior British judge. In one single phrase, the fantasy collapsed.
The new Prince Harry interview, it is emotional, and what he reveals about his father, King Charles, saying his father won't speak to him. Prince Harry had fought in court for security protection when he visits the UK. The interview coming out tonight, just hours after Harry lost that lawsuit.
The fantasy that Harry, despite walking away from his royal duties, could return to the UK and demand taxpayer-funded security as though nothing had changed. But everything has changed. And now, the British legal system has put it in writing. The High Court dismissed Harry's case against the Home Office and Ravec, the committee responsible for assigning security to royals and VIPs.
He expressed his great sense of disappointment, I think a real bitterness about his loss at the Court of Appeal today, attempting to overturn that decision back in 2020 to downgrade his security.
And not just dismissed it, they obliterated it. In the ruling, the judge found Harry's argument to be rooted in personal grievance, not legal merit. His emotional sense of injustice, however passionately delivered, did not translate into a sound legal claim. The court wasn't interested in tabloid sob stories or celebrity tantrums. It dealt in facts, and the facts weren't in Harry's favor. Let's talk about Ravec, the Royal and VIP Executive Committee. These are not political appointees or vengeful bureaucrats. They're national security experts. Their job is to assess real, present danger, not royal nostalgia. When Harry stepped down from royal duties and relocated to California, he changed his status. And Ravec did exactly what they're mandated to do: reassess his need for publicly funded protection. The conclusion? He didn't qualify. Simple, rational, lawful. Harry's legal team tried to spin this as a violation of procedural fairness. The judge saw through it immediately. The process was proper, the decision was lawful, and the outcome was consistent with how others in similar positions are treated. No special favors, no exceptions, just justice. What's truly astonishing isn't just that Prince Harry lost, it's that he ever thought he could win. From the very beginning, this case was less about safety and more about entitlement. Harry believed, perhaps delusionally, that royal blood guaranteed royal privileges for life. But the judiciary has now made it crystal clear. Abandoning your role means forfeiting the benefits that come with it. Harry voluntarily left the UK. He turned his back on the monarchy, walked away from official duties, and moved his family to Montecito to build a brand rooted in grievance and victimhood. Yet he still expected British taxpayers to foot the bill for his elite security team whenever he felt like visiting. That is not how institutions work. That is not how the law works. The court ruling highlighted this narcissistic expectation and tore it down with cold, precise legal reasoning.
Elsewhere, for the Duke of Sussex, he's going to discover whether he's won a Court of Appeal challenge over his security arrangements while in the UK. And with us to tell us all about this and what we might expect is GB News royal correspondent.
When he stopped being an official royal, Prince Harry had his security downgraded. He fought that decision through the courts, but today he lost.
Does that mean that he, his wife Meghan and their children can never...
The message? You cannot cash in on a royal past while simultaneously rejecting the responsibilities it entails. And where was Meghan Markle in all of this? Predictably silent, publicly at least. But make no mistake, the Sussex PR machine has already gone into overdrive behind the scenes. The spin will be ruthless. Harry was mistreated. The UK system is broken. Ravek was politically motivated. But no amount of Oprah interviews or Netflix specials can reframe this devastating legal loss as a moral victory. This isn't about racism, bias, or personal vendettas. It's about legal standing, and Harry had none. Even the judge's language was damningly restrained. No dramatics, just the clinical conclusion that Harry's arguments were fundamentally hollow.
Next few minutes, we are expecting to get that judgment from the judges at the Court of Appeal. If you remember Prince Harry, when he stood for Meghan as well, Prince Harry did not like that, and so he launched a court case which ended up in a 2023 judgment at the
and their tightly managed media empire. This is a nightmare. The brand they've built depends on perpetual victimhood, but it's hard to play the victim when a neutral British court tells the world you're simply wrong. Behind palace walls, or rather, Montecito mansion gates, the fallout from this ruling must be seismic. According to court transcripts, Harry's legal team made extraordinary demands, asking the court to essentially override Ravek's expert judgment. That wasn't just entitled, it was legally absurd. Harry wasn't just challenging policy. He was challenging an independent national security apparatus because it didn't align with his personal narrative. Let's be clear, Harry wasn't denied security because anyone had it out for him. He was denied because his threat level, as determined by professionals.
Or will it just become a convenient excuse as to why he won't see his father, the King?
Well, in the last few moments, Camilla, the Court of Appeal has refused the Duke of Sussex's legal attempt royal duties, and because of that, and the fact that he was going to live, or now lived, in America, his security was downgraded. This seemed to have a
Not tabloids or Spotify deals, did not meet the standard for state protection. His team argued that his public profile made him a special case. But so do countless other public figures, none of whom get taxpayer-funded security on demand. His case wasn't unique. It was presumptuous. The court saw right through it. The judge's comments didn't merely dismiss Harry's case. They exposed the flimsy foundation of the entire Sussex legal strategy. They revealed that Harry's challenge was constructed on a sense of hurt, not a breach of law. The court found that Ravek had acted within its legal powers, followed a sound procedure, and weighed the relevant risks correctly. In other words, the system worked. It was Harry's expectations that were broken. This ruling sets a precedent not just for royals, but for the celebrity class more broadly. You cannot bypass due process just because you're famous or because you used to be royal. Harry's belief that emotional injury equates to legal injustice was annihilated by the cold force of jurisprudence. He wasn't just denied.
Entitled to the automatic 24/7 taxpayer-funded police protection that senior members of the royal family and government ministers, senior government ministers. Now, he does, of course, have private security. He pays for that in the United States, and they do accompany him over here in the United States.
He was exposed. The gap between what Harry believes he deserves and what he's legally entitled to has never been more obvious. And it's enormous. Prince Harry may have intended this lawsuit to be a power play, a public show of defiance against the British establishment, but it's backfired catastrophically. Rather than winning sympathy or setting a precedent, he has lost credibility. Worse, He has embarrassed himself on an international stage. The court didn't just dismiss his arguments. It highlighted them as irrational, ill-founded, and based on a flawed understanding of law and duty. What Harry and Meghan fail to grasp is this: public sympathy does not translate to legal merit. The couple has spent the last few years positioning themselves as victims of institutional betrayal. But courts don't deal in emotion. They deal in evidence. And the evidence didn't back up Harry's claims. Instead of strengthening their narrative, this defeat undermines it. Harry went into court expecting validation. What he got was a judicial rebuke, and the exposure of just how deeply out of touch he and Meghan have become with the country they claim mistreated them. For British taxpayers, this ruling is more than just a win. It's a relief. Had Harry prevailed, the court would have opened the floodgates to other non-working royals and public figures.
Meghan, he fought that decision taken by the Home Office through the courts. He went to the High Court, and it was seen as being proportionate, that his downgrade, that it was proportionate and it wasn't irrational. Let's hear Sir Geoffrey Voss handing down that judgment just a few minutes ago.
The decisions taken in the decision letter.
Expecting bespoke security arrangements on the public purse. But now, the precedent is clear. If you walk away from official duties, you walk away from official benefits. Period. And it's not just about the money. It's about fairness. The average British citizen cannot demand state protection simply because they feel unsafe or disliked. Why should Harry be an exception? The ruling affirmed that security is granted on the basis of real, not imagined threats, assessed by experts, not dictated by former royals with Hollywood contracts. It's a long overdue reality check for Harry and Meghan, who've long lived under the illusion that they could cherry-pick royalty on their terms. That illusion has just been shattered in the harshest, most public way possible, by the British justice system. This loss isn't just a personal defeat for Prince Harry. It's a moment of reckoning for the entire institution he abandoned. By attempting to weaponize the legal system against the very state that once protected him, Harry has exposed a deeper truth. He no longer holds influence, not in the halls of power, nor in the courts of justice. His royal status, once assumed to carry global weight, meant nothing in the face of objective legal scrutiny. For the monarchy, this ruling reaffirms a vital precedent. Privilege must be tied to responsibility. Queen Elizabeth II famously lived by the mantra,
"We can bring that judgment to you as and when we get it."
I think, Cameron, we can go back to the Court of Appeal now, where Sir Geoffrey Voss is speaking. The working royal had created a unique set of circumstances by choosing to leave the United Kingdom, Cameron.
Yeah, he certainly did, and I think...
Duty first. Harry, in contrast, lives by entitlement. This judgment sent a crystal-clear message to the world. The UK's judicial system does not bend to celebrity, former royalty, or emotional blackmail. And for King Charles and the working royals still upholding their duties, this ruling strengthens the boundary between those who serve and those who simply complain. Perhaps most devastating of all, this ruling effectively slams the door on any quiet hopes Harry may have had for a return to royal life with privileges intact. There will be no special carve-outs, no reinstated taxpayer-funded protection, no deference based on titles alone. The court has ruled, and it has done so with authority. Harry is not above the law, and he cannot buy back what he willingly gave up. It's a catastrophe not just for his legal team.
Required, given the alternative governance arrangements that were to be established on a case-by-case basis for the future. And Ravek had given compelling reasons for having reached the conclusion that the approach...
But for the entire Sussex narrative machine, the constant claims of mistreatment, the victimhood strategy, the attacks on the UK establishment, they've been undermined by the one institution immune to PR spin, the judiciary. This isn't just a court ruling, it's a cultural reset. No longer can Harry and Meghan cloak themselves in royal prestige while denying every responsibility that comes with it. They walked away. And now, Britain has finally walked away from them. Prince Harry's relentless pursuit to claw back UK taxpayer-funded security reached a spectacular and very public implosion. In February 2024, the High Court slammed the door shut on his entitled fantasy, ruling against his challenge to the Ravec decision. A ruling that made it crystal clear: you can't cherry-pick royal privileges while abandoning royal duties. The judgment was a legal embarrassment. The court found his case unarguable, artificial, and lacking merit, exposing Harry not just as legally wrong, but morally tone-deaf. This wasn't a matter of safety.
My colleagues, Lord Justices Bean and Edis, agreed was that the Duke of Sussex's appeal would be dismissed.
A couple of weeks ago, he was there in person, and that was quite a surprise to everyone because he's obviously travelled to the UK and not had too many concerns about security to be.
It was a bruised ego wrapped in a tantrum, and the judiciary wasn't having any of it. His plea to be treated like a working royal, while actively trashing the monarchy in public, crumbled under its own hypocrisy. Then came the slow-motion collapse of the one thing that was supposed to keep the Sussexes afloat: Netflix. The $100 million deal, once touted as a revolutionary content partnership, has become a millstone of unmet expectations. After Harry and Meghan and Heart of Invictus fizzled out with critics and failed to generate sustainable buzz, the streaming giant has gone conspicuously quiet. There's no second docuseries, no new productions in the pipeline, and no visible output justifying the investment. Rumors of a silent contract freeze or non-renewal swirl around the industry, and insiders hint that Netflix is simply waiting for the Sussexes' deal to expire without fanfare. Harry, once propped up as a global influencer, now seems more like a costly liability. In Hollywood terms, he's box office poison. Spotify collapse, the grifter label that stuck. The implosion of the Sussexes' Spotify deal was less of a quiet failure and more of a corporate mic drop. After just one season of Archetypes, a show Meghan hosted with a level of detachment that even her own fans found lukewarm, Spotify axed the $20 million deal. Why? Because the content was shallow, unoriginal, and worst of all, lazy. Harry contributed virtually nothing to the project, proving yet again that when stripped of royal access, he's creatively impotent. But the final nail in the coffin came from Spotify executive Bill Simmons.
Of Justice, Cameron Walker is with us, our royal correspondent. What did you just hear?
Yeah, we're just hearing that Prince Harry's been provided with a generally lesser level of protection than what he was provided.
But, of course, the main point is that both the High Court and the Court of Appeal have upheld the Home Office...
who publicly branded the couple Fing grifters. That moment went viral, not because it was controversial, but because it struck a nerve. Simmons voiced what the industry whispered for years. Harry and Meghan overpromised, underdelivered, and pocketed millions while doing the bare minimum. The grifters label wasn't just a corporate insult. It became their new brand. Spare, a memoir of self-sabotage. Harry's memoir Spare was heralded as his magnum opus, a chance to tell his truth. What the world got instead was a humiliating spiral of oversharing and self-pity. Instead of empathy, readers were left stunned by revelations of frostbitten genitals, drug trips, and awkward royal anecdotes that read more like teenage diary entries than thoughtful reflections. Even allies were blindsided. His confession to killing 25 Taliban fighters was condemned internationally. Military veterans called it reckless, while security experts warned it endangered his safety. Far from rehabilitating his image, Spare confirmed the worst. Harry is emotionally stunted, narcissistic, and disconnected from reality. He didn't just burn bridges, he turned them into bonfires, lighting up what's left of his royal credibility. In trying to appear raw and vulnerable, Harry instead appeared vindictive and painfully out of his depth.
Invictus Games events too. As his lawyer pointed out, there are credible threats against him. Notably, Al-Qaeda was said in open court. He
visiting the UK with his family. I never quite bought that argument, because had they made an exception for him, even though he is now...
The Invictus fallout, from hero to headache, Harry's last remaining stronghold, his beloved Invictus Games, is starting to show cracks under the weight of his own missteps. Once hailed as a noble champion of wounded veterans, Harry now finds himself increasingly overshadowed by his own controversies. His Netflix documentary Heart of Invictus failed to gain traction, with critics calling it self-serving and emotionally flat. More damningly, some veterans have begun to quietly distance themselves, uncomfortable with how the games are being politicized and used as a platform for Harry's personal image rehab. His decision to center himself, yet again, instead of the athletes, was seen by many as tone-deaf. He's managed to turn even his most admirable achievement into a PR vehicle, and it's not going unnoticed. The Invictus brand may survive.
Say quite cynically he's throwing the toys out of the pram. That doesn't mean he's necessarily right. But it's...
facts don't care about your feelings type statement.
Well, quite. The law...
proper status as a working member of the royal family anymore. In fact, he's been stripped of his royal and military patronages.
But Harry's grip on it is slipping. The Vanity Fair party snub. Hollywood has moved on. Perhaps the most symbolic blow came not from a courtroom or streaming giant, but from a red carpet. In early 2024, the Sussexes were reportedly left off the guest list for the ultra-exclusive Vanity Fair Oscars afterparty, a social barometer of Hollywood relevance. Meghan had allegedly tried to secure an invitation through back channels, only to be quietly rebuffed. For a couple who relocated to California to become media royalty, being iced out of Tinseltown's most elite gathering was a brutal reminder. Their novelty has worn off. In the cutthroat world of celebrity, you're either trending or you're toast. And Harry, once the world's most eligible bachelor,
trap him and Meghan in Britain, and that he was convinced that that decision was imposed as a form of punishment, essentially. You also said that this could go up to the Supreme Court, that we don't know at this stage if it'll apply.
He then flew off to the Ukrainian border, which again probably isn't particularly safe either. This whole idea that this can be used
now lingers somewhere between forgotten and irrelevant. No buzz, no deals, no demand. Just a shrinking spotlight and the long, awkward silence of a brand in freefall. What's worse than public scandal? Silence. After years of overexposure, Hollywood elites are now actively avoiding the Sussex brand. Major studios have reportedly grown wary, recognizing Harry and Meghan not as creative collaborators, but as reputation risks. Invitations to high-profile events have dried up, and their red carpet absence in 2024 became deafening. In a town obsessed with relevance, the Sussexes are now seen as a cautionary tale, famous for feuding, not for talent. When even the liberal strongholds of California begin to ghost you, you know the facade has shattered. And finally, there's Archewell, their much-hyped foundation that now exists mostly in press releases and vague mission statements. Public records show dwindling activity, questionable staffing, and a lack of tangible results. In 2023, they quietly dissolved their UK charity, Sussex Royal, amid accusations of mismanagement. Archewell, the supposed engine of their post-royal legacy, has become an empty shell, more brand extension than benevolent force. For all their talk of service, the Sussexes have delivered very little. And for Harry, who once wore a uniform with pride, this failure to build something meaningful post-monarchy may be the most tragic downfall of all. Excellent choice. Bullet 19 serves as a powerful and poetic final blow, closing the segment on the most personal, irreversible failure of all: his total exile from the royal family. In chasing independence, Harry lost everything: his family, his nation, his reputation, and his relevance. What remains is a man out of place, out of favor, and increasingly out of time. The prince who fled the palace is now a stranger to it, and no amount of media deals can buy his way back.